Eddie gets me every time. Pritchett, I want to hear from you for a second if you're available to unveil.
Did
What
he win
is
an Oscar for that?
there's kind of there's like a behind the scenes moment we could have here, like a pop-up video moment. What is your what are your fond memories or recollections of that day?
Fond memories. It's always fun shooting those videos. That's for sure. Yeah, I had to work up some deep emotions there. I think if Brian Williamson had been around then, I probably should have done some counseling right after that, from what I had to dredge up to get that tear to pop out.
Well, you nailed it. One of my memories of that day is having we had to put we couldn't get the fly. It was such an important part of the script. We had to get the fly to stay on Casey's face, and we couldn't do that. And so we ended up putting the fly in the freezer. We didn't kill the fly, so we don't want anybody to feel like that any flies were harmed in the filming, but we put it in the freezer for just long enough to like stun it so that it was still alive, but would rest on Casey's face. And that shot probably took 30 minutes because Casey couldn't stop laughing because it kept tickling him. So it was a good one. One of my all-time favorites. So you got a good one lined up for us today, man. You want to give us a sneak preview before we hit some numbers?
Yeah, no, it should be very good. I'm excited to be able to interview my own father. So I get to flip the tables on him a little bit. I've been interviewed by him quite a few times in my life.
Interrogated, we would say.
Yeah, interview is a nice word for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting to celebrate what he's done over the past 2 years, working not only as my base shop director, but building his organization at the same time, and being a new agency owner, and what led to that point. There's a lot of lessons that both of us learned over that 2-year journey that we've gone on. So excited to be able to share that.
Yeah, man, that's great. Looking forward to it. All right, let me see if I can open up this PowerPoint and hit us some quick numbers. Might be even some promotions to hit today, so stick with me. Our number one first-time rider for the week, Jennifer Thomas, with $6,000 in premium. Way to go, Jennifer. By the way, guys, huge week. Almost forgot to say it, Spivey. We were second largest week of all time for field, probably second largest week all time for Quility. We were one rider away from an all-time record this week as well. So records were broken in other categories, but what a great week. Everybody that's got your pedal to the metal, keep it going. Ashley Richard, top producers for the week, in third place. Sean Hogan, second place. In first place is Francisco Capistrano with $21,586. Way to go, Francisco. Top app count producer, Ashley Richard, Harrison Zipkin, and Monique Alrawi with 33 apps. And I tell you, when Monique wants to turn it on, Spivey, she just it's like you just
like
flip,
nobody else.
Like nobody else. Just applications start pouring in. Sabrina Fernbacher, number one Medicare sub agent for the week. Brenda Davis, number one DI producer for the week with 1681. Top IUL producer for the week was Joshua Altenwright, $17,280. Way to go, man. Top 5 annuity producers. Number one was Christopher Cook with $1 million, just over that in annuities volumes. Blaine Jones right behind with 932,000. Can I just say that now is a really good time to be asking those annuity questions? A really good time. I tell you what, if you're a, well, I think everybody will be able to see this. We need to set up an annuity call coming up soon on just how to uncover those, what questions to ask. Spivey, put that one in the old back of your mind for an upcoming, either a full call or just a agent spotlight would be good. Top DFL producer for the week, George White, $26,935. That's just crazy. Karen Kramer just right behind by $1,000 with $25,910. Way to go, guys. Top recruits in the base shop goes to Robert Puckett, Edward Pritchett, and Jordan Shank tied for second place. Top direct recruits, Jacob Pug with 52. Unbelievable. Doubling up the board, man. Delaney and Jordan Janet Matthews in second and third place. Top base shop licensed recruits, Easy Eddie Pritchett with 6. And top direct licensed recruits, Pritchett knocking Pogue off the perch. That was a lot of P's in there. That was pretty alliterative. I like that. 18. Way to go. Top new writers in the base, Ashley Tar and Tyler Harris. On the direct side, Jacob Pogue with 9. Top new SNAs, Linda Chung with 3 in a week. Sue Adams, Sam Fine, Jamie Susie all with 2. Jacob Pogue on the directs board with 5 SNAs for the week, man. Way to go. Scott Summers in second place and a whole slew of people in third place. Here are all of our season new agents. Last names only. Shine, Polkinen, Holiday, Covey, Larson, Sparks, Schuer, Mother's Head, Tamanaha, Robinson, Pear, Hill, Frazier, Plummer, Duff, Karanov, Ledbetter, I like that name, O'Neill, Gissier, Blaine, and Nichols. Which ones did I mess up, Todd?
Not sure on Tamanaha, but I think you came pretty close.
Oh, I did good on Tamanaha.
Mm-hmm.
I was concerned about Gissier.
You have to remember, I'm never going to give you full credit because when you can't do the leaderboards, I butcher this. And so the more I make you look good, the less better I look.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm just being open and honest.
I appreciate your honesty. And I do feel like that there was even a touch of vulnerability in there.
Thank you.
You, Brene Brown, wherever you are. She's
I know.
That's right. Top key leader for the week, Aguilar, Gentleman, $26,672. That's a good week. Top AO, Jeffrey Miller, $47,361. Top agency directors, Larry and Ann Griffin with $135,000. Eileen Balmer is still the raddest of the rad with $176,000. Top MVPs, George and Janet Matthews, also $176,000. Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell with $280,436 for the SVP. Man, look at Offer climbing, steadily climbing, summiting, maybe we'll refer to it from now on. Top EVP, Carl Miller, $222,470. Top associate partner, Linwood Watkins, is at a record, man, $816,895. Whoo, Lenny, send me a text. That might be a record. Woo, man. He got upset with me last week because I made a comment on the call that somebody was catching him. So he did one of those, oh yeah, watch this moves.
Mm-hmm. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my goat and my beer.
As Linda would say, hold my moonshine. Edward Pritchett, $985,432. And it's not just moonshine. Linwood can make tequila, like he makes really fine tasting spirits. Mm-hmm. Edward Pritchett, $985,432 for a good week. You're going to hear all about it here in a second. Edged out by Mr. Marshall Whalen at $1,069,119. Good week from KP and the Sunshine Band too, $515,000. Top directs for the week, Mr. Jacob Pogue at the top with $236,000. Gus Villagran with the top base for the week. Just edged out George and Janet, Dan and Diane, Marty and Frank. Promotions, we got a couple of new elite producers. That's a big one. Ashley Richard, Jesse Buckrock. I just really like that name, Buckrock. Now, I could be pronouncing it incorrectly. It could be Backrock or Backrock. I just like it, whatever it is.
Isn't that also a famous candy?
Could be.
Don't they make peppermints?
It sounds like something that you could definitely get in Pigeon Forge. Right? Rock candy.
Sweet.
Love it. Also, Kim Ruiz for elite producer made the list, according to Miranda Martin. It's probably let's do some double checking on that. But if I know Miranda, she's going to know those numbers pretty well. Make sure we didn't miss one, Kim Ruiz. Top team leaders or team leader promotions. Spivey, I'm going to turn this one over to you to pronounce the names because I never get to hear you do it because I'm always off the call when you do it. So I want to see how you do here.
Arias Quadros, Chad Carr, Charity Pruger, David Gardner, Frank Cornell, Helen Griffin, Jonathan Daly, Keith England, Lindsay Butler, Michelle Flanagan, Natalie Hermit, Richard Borza, Reuben Brown, Shannon Turner, Susie Self, Tracy Roccanello.
T-Rock.
You know, I wanted to go Rocket Chicatello there.
Yes. Yep.
But I don't think they're related.
Had a conversation with T-Rock, Tracy Roccanello, about Rocky Chicatello. And to my dismay, she had no idea who Joe Namath was.
Really?
But we worked it out. She knows now.
I'm also getting word that Michelle Rocio is also a team leader. So got a team leader promotion there. Very well done.
I like it.
Yolanda Scales.
I think you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good job. Top key leaders, or not top key leaders, promotions for new key leaders. Alina Cantrell, Amanda Lucky, Frank Haney, Jeremy Fine. Way to go, Jeremy Fine. Joanna Doibin, Leslie Phillips, Rebecca Hamilton, and Ryan Newman. Maybe we should pause here to see who we missed. All right, we're going forward. Top agency owner, excuse me, I keep saying top. New agency owners, Ashley Richard and Misty Hutton. Way to go, gang. Paul Bine is a new agency director, which makes George and Janet Matthews new senior vice presidents. Way to go. Whoa, look at this. Top 2.0. Am I talking about this, or is Mr. Zay on here? Where's Doug? He just kind of talked about, there he is. I see his name on here. Don't leave it to me, Doug.
Surprised me. Came past when I was thinking I was going to come.
I'll leave out some good stuff. I know I'm trying to move quickly today. We had a good advisory board call this morning, trying to condense our calls a little bit. People have schedules after this, so I'm trying to be aware of that and respect those schedules that are upcoming.
Absolutely. Well, we got some exciting news. Been working hard behind the scenes. A massive amount of credit to our CTO, John Edwards, who has been on the warpath since he arrived. But especially over the last 2 years of really, digging in and providing direction so that the platform can really be optimized. And that hard work has come to fruition, and we're excited to announce that starting on Monday, March 21st, all agents and agency owners will have access to an upgraded version of Opt called Opt 2.0. So the real beauty and benefit of the new platform is it's been built on a modern architecture and infrastructure that is API based. And for all of you out there that are familiar with that terminology, that's how, similar platforms like Salesforce, other systems are built. And doing it this way will drastically enhance performance. John did a lot of great work to get the performance improved. But there's just limitations in an older system like that, where essentially everybody's kind of engaged and connected to a database full time. So an API-based system allows you to only send and request data as you need it. And as that's happening, it will free up the bandwidth and the resources for both agents, agency owners, home office staff, everybody. This has been out in the water stream. We've been testing it with some folks in our corporate division for the last 3 or 4 months now to work out and make sure everything's functioning and working well. And we're extremely excited about the results and performance. The second thing that's going to do is connectivity. There's a lot of need right now in systems to kind of download and upload and move stuff around. The way it is built moving forward will allow us to point and send data to the places it needs to go. So there's less drag on an agent to have to manually do those things. So as we get closer to a lot of exciting things that we've talked about, that's going to be key in increasing our speed to the lead and our speed to serve that client. So other things is just improved interface, improved look and feel, all of the features, everything that you're used to utilizing, none of that has changed. Might be in a little bit different location, but our experience so far is it's very intuitive, easy to find. A lot the same good old fashioned Opt icons will be there, so you know where to go and click on. But the last thing that's really exciting, and this is not going to be rolled out initially because we have some work to do behind the scenes to make sure all orders are inputted, but in April we'll be able to launch that all standing lead orders will be able to be submitted, tracked, managed, and reported on directly within Opt. So it was a big deal for agency owners, and for those of you coming up and striving to be agency owners, the big celebration is, what does that mean for all of us? The death of spreadsheets. So we'll be able to operate in a much more streamlined and modern fashion and be able to get data information and make decisions and move things forward quickly. So it's pretty awesome, pretty exciting. So starting on Monday, you'll have the option from the login screen on off, the single sign-on will still take you into the original version. You have the ability to log out and go into Op 2.0. You can begin using it. There's no reason you have to continue using the older version. We just left it alive. We're going to do a soft launch for 2 weeks just to make sure there's access to the older system, just in case you need it or there's any issues or challenges. We don't anticipate it, but of course want to make sure there's no business interruption. And then on April 4th is the date we plan to go live completely with that system and be able to decommission the former system. That's it.
Great update, man. People are fired up about that one.
Yep.
Well done, Doug, John, everybody that's been a part of that. Thank you for that, man. We also missed Terrell Mackey as a top producer. Terrell, congratulations to you. Spivey said that he is personally going to oversee all promotions moving forward. So that
Didn't we just talk about the amount of things that I'm trying to do?
sorry, I didn't mean to throw that on you there. It's not true.
You got it, boss.
Oh man. They do slip through. We apologize, but congratulations to everybody.
We do. And I will say, for nobody in particular that's mentioned here today, I will say, make sure you're getting in those nomination forms at the appropriate time too. BI is moving fast, doing a lot of things. So always make sure we're getting in those promotion forms.
Yep. Love it. I haven't had a chance to take a look at the PowerPoint today, so I don't know what's next. We're all in this together. Oh, boom. One of my favorites. Look at this one. Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, South Dakota, Pennsylvania, and even Tennessee has available leads. You got to turn on the SLOs. This is not an inventory issue. If you are the type of agent that just wants to sit around and wait for leads to pop up in inventory, it's not a good bet. Not a good bet. They may be there, they may not be. Somebody may beat you to it. We would rather not stock the inventories because we can't. Meaning, if clients aren't getting service really quickly, then it's costing us money, you money, and most importantly, it's costing the clients, I guess, time and risk, and that's not what we want. So in order to see these leads come to fruition, you have to turn in your SLOs, and generally the way to do that would be to get going with your statewide lead orders. Okay, that's a good number though.
Standing lead orders. I get asked a lot what SLOs are, and then it's standing lead order.
Yeah, and they used to be geographic mailing requests, but now that we're no longer tied to our geographic locations or doing all mail, that term became obsolete.
And Brandon, would you mind giving us a reminder of why it's so important for us as a company to get as many standing lead orders as possible versus just waiting to buy leads on the open inventory?
Well, as a company, it's a dumb bet for us to just stock the inventory full of people that may or may not be able to get serviced because we don't have the leads in that area, right? It's very expensive. It's a very bad look for the company, especially as we're moving into, as we've been saying, speed to lead, virtual sales, or digital leads, all these things that are so important to move quickly. But I think one of the most important things that agents have to remember is that for us to really be able to have an efficient and effective lead program, we have to be able to monitor demand very clearly. We can't guess at demand because then we're spending money that shouldn't be spent, which makes everybody's lead costs then go up, all those things that are not good, right? So it's really important for us to know exactly who's wanting those leads, how many they're wanting every single day or week, and then we can accurately create those leads, right? So I know it's a little bit of a challenge for newer agents to come in and kind of stick their neck out a little bit. That's a hard thing for a lot of people. That's honestly probably the hardest part of getting started in this business, and certainly with the company, is this idea that you have to come in and invest in yourself. Certainly from a financial standpoint, most people come from a background where they show up, they do a job, they get paid, right? Most people don't have this investment mindset. And so it's a difficult thing for people to wrap their heads around. And I'll be honest with you, 20 years ago, I was in that boat. I didn't have two nickels to rub together. I was living off my wife's massive salary of $7 an hour, working at a daycare. And I was really scared to stick my neck out and work or invest in leads. So instead, I worked a ton of older bonus leads. I invest less. I think that's good. And I think that you can cut your teeth on those and you'll do really well eventually. But it's also, it can burn people out if you're not careful. So as long as you recognize that it's a temporary thing, not for everybody, Spivey. You and I were looking at some numbers the other day, and we have a few agents that's all they work is like the cheapest leads they can find, and they crush it. Most people, or a lot of people, aren't willing to do that type of work over and over and over again, right? And the key to this business is consistency, right? Consistency starts with, am I consistently investing in the number of resources I need to get the results that I want? Am I consistently booking the number of appointments that I need? How's my activity level, right? If I want consistent pay, I have to behave consistently. And unless you're willing to do things that a lot of people are not, like knock on doors, which I think is still great. Some people do that and they kill it. But a lot of people aren't willing to do those things. So I would never convince anybody to go into debt, but I will tell you that for me, it was worth it to put a little money on a credit card so that I could actually launch my career. And I think one of the greatest things about this business is it is so affordable to get into business and to start, really your own company. I've never seen anything else out there quite like this. So that's a hard one, but I will say, as we've said time and time again, if you want to double production, double your lead flow. Managers, if you want to double the size of your agency, double your leads under management. Recruiting has to back that up. But we want to be very transparent and show you these numbers every single week. These are forecasted leads. These are not, again, they would take a little while to get up and rolling and coming in consistently. So that's why we have to see those standing lead orders. All right.
A couple more if we're at quick, Brandon, if you don't mind.
Sure.
New top producer, Misty Cintron.
Nice.
Well done, Misty.
Nice.
Hit top producer. I believe she's bought into your SLO theory.
I think so too.
I got another one for you. Tom Ellison, out of the Ziller organization, team leader.
Uncle Tom, my old buddy, my Uncle Ellison. I love him. Wonder where Tom is from. Ziller, shoot me a text on that. Where's my great uncle from? He might be my nephew. I don't know how old Tom is. He could be younger than me. Yep. Congratulations, everybody hitting promotions. We got some events coming up today. Tomorrow. Erica Sisson on the Quility Tech HQ. That's going to be exciting. It's a training webinar at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Monday, we've got our normal Monday sales training call hosted by Lynn Ostergaard and Kenny Luyo, Acting with Conviction. I like that. And then DFL-IVIN, Advanced DFL Concepts. Scott Forehand, who is a killer at this stuff. Theo Pritchett, Keith Fonseca, and then Betsy Barr. All of them just have turned into monster DFL producers. So congratulations. Indianapolis, Indiana is where Tom Ellison is from.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that means.
Rumor has it he also likes the same brand that you like in ball caps. That's what I heard.
Ball cap, would that be?
You know the hat you wear with the 3 trees? I've seen a picture of Tom wearing a hat very similar.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. He's got style, Brandon.
I mean, he is an Ellison.
But I think he uses F's in his name. You don't have any F's in your name. You're not quite as cool.
He does what now?
He has F's in his name.
Oh.
F as in Frank.
So spell the name for me.
Effison.
Well, good Lord. My whole bit's ruined.
I didn't mean to bring you down, but I also do want to give a shout out to Andre Nero for being a top producer as well. Sorry, guys. We had a couple of misses this week on the promotions. We'll be sure and do better.
We will give it our best as long as you guys give it your best. And
Andre Nero, top producer.
If you didn't turn your form in on time,
They might have,
no doubt. So Effison is not my uncle or my nephew or any relation to me, unfortunately.
Just your buddy.
I do believe it's Ellison, not Effison. Just want to correct you, Spivey, before Tom Ellison texts you.
You got to remember too, the way I pronounce things is not as eloquent as you or Brandon.
Ellison.
But it is. It's ELEFFSON.
Ellison.
I believe there are 2 L's in there, not 1 L, Spivey, 2 L's.
Well, if there's 2 L's, then John Ziller needs to learn how to spell as well.
Yes, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Ziller's got 2 L's in his own name. You'd think he would know how to do it. I don't know where this conversation is going, and I would like to apologize for all that ramble.
Yeah.
And let's actually get the correct people on this call to pull us out of the quagmire. Edward Pritchett.
No.
$1 million a week agency here. I would highly recommend everyone stop what you're doing, get your pens, your papers, and get ready to take some notes. Easy Eddie, you're dressed for the occasion. You're in Puerto Rico, at one of the most beautiful places in the world that we've ever been to travel to. And man, what a cool thing. You know, you think back to 11 years ago.
Do we have to?
Nightmares, some of them, but like never in your wildest dreams were you able to think like that you would be able to be in Dorado Beach in Puerto Rico and continuing to run your business and continuing to grow your business. And I think it's been, man, what a great example for everybody to see like what's possible. Much gratitude for that. A lot of people will want to know about that shirt, as I did for the first time. Do you want to give them a little plug real quick?
Good old Bad Birdie. Bad Birdie polos. They do a good job.
They do.
I haven't tested them out on the golf course. I know Zilla really wanted me to jump out on the golf course in Cancun, but I'd rather just like relax in them for right now. I'm not gonna put them through too much work, so I can't speak to them as far as performance, but look and feel. Bad Birdie, not a bad polo.
Looks great. I missed a couple of quick announcements, and you reminded me of one of them. All login credentials for Op 2.0 will stay the same. And let's see, I think John was saying cutting off golf registrations tomorrow for Mexico. So you still have another day, Eddie, if you want to change your mind and play golf with us in that shirt. It's Wednesday the 30th, and pickup in Mexico will be at 8 o'clock a.m. If you have any questions, reach out to John ASAP, he says. All right. It's such a cool thing when I get to see, and this happens a lot, it seems like these days, where people have kind of turned this thing into a little bit of a family business. You think of the Purdy's and you think of the Millers, and they're not going to start naming names because there's so many people. And then to know that you get to work with your father in a way that you probably never imagined. You guys used to work together as engineers way back in the day. And then Theo came on board and joined your organization, and then took another job, if my memory is correct, out in Iowa with the United States Postal Service. Mm-hmm. And I think you got out there, Theo, and you realized just how much you missed Symmetry and missed being able to work with your son, Eddie. And Theo was on our new agency owners hobnobbing the other day, and you'd said something that really hit me, and I thought it was really special, that you get to have your son as a mentor, and that's not something that very many people get to experience. And for some people that do get to experience, maybe they have issues where they don't make it the best case scenario, right? Maybe there's egos involved or whatever. It's really hard sometimes working with family. You guys have done a great job of that. I think the numbers kind of speak for themselves, Theo, and what you've been able to accomplish, continuing to kind of hammer out DFL, but started as a new agent mentor. And before we get to you, Theo, Edward, you were a new agent mentor for us way back starting in 2011, I think is when you probably started as the mentor. You started in the organization in 2010. What did you learn from that? Because you've also continued that experience as, it paid off big time for you, and we can talk about that, but it also taught you a lot in how you want to run your organization down the road. So you've continued to have new agent mentors really for the past 11 years, right?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, Edward Pritchett, direct to Symmetry Financial Group. Always honored to be able to say that, that first interview that I went on back in October of 2010, I got to sit in front of Casey and have him explain what you and Brian and he were looking to do. and to get to experience the last 11 and a half years now, which is kind of crazy, but 11 and a half years, and just seeing that continue to come to fruition in ways that, like, I know, I'm not trying to make it sound bad in any kind of way, but you guys probably didn't even see what it could be at that point in time, because it's the people that keep getting attracted to this company. It's the new insights. I think of everyone there at the home office now, from, Todd to Palmer to Williamson, and I shouldn't start naming names because, it's so many people who just keep bringing so many great and new things to what this company is continuing to evolve to do what you guys set out to do. And that was bring that balance back to insurance agents. And I found this company at exactly the right time, because I was definitely on a beeline exit. I was like, I have an engineering degree. I don't have to be doing this insurance stuff anymore, not making money, not, like all these reasons, right? But to hear that from Casey, and then to come in and in a short period of time be welcomed by the at that time much smaller Symmetry family that existed, and then get to experience working with you, coming on as that base shop mentor, it was probably April 2011 when I started as base shop mentor. I had only really been at the company for about 6 or 7 months. Yeah. And to get to see and look over your shoulders. And we always talk about how this is a business of being a very good cheater. Like, if you cheat well, you will do very well here. And you just watch what the person who's getting success is doing, and you start mimicking and doing that and incorporating that into your daily activities, incorporating how they think. And more importantly, and that's what we'll talk about some today, incorporate how they believe. And you'll start to see results that, every year your belief level gets bigger and bigger, and the new promise of what is next to come, what this company can continue to be, what your agency, what your business can become, gets to grow. And that's what that position really, it impacted me in a big way, to have that amazing opportunity to work right, behind you guys. I got to peek over your shoulders a lot. And then I carry that on in the present now of having that role. Like, we talked about with Giant, that apprenticeship square, right? Like, if you really want to help someone get to where you are, that then can lift up your business and your organization, they need to see and know what you're doing, and you need to be able to watch them do those same things. And that's that leadership, mentorship paradigm that we've built here at Symmetry over this time. And you guys started it, right? Like, you guys started by saying, okay, we're growing the overall company. We're continuing to push out. We need to have some key people in place. You hired, right? Pam Fair came on, employee number 1, right? Like, you had someone to help with those things. Meredith was making calls. Sarah was making dials and doing recruiting. You started bringing people on to help you expand what you can do as a business. I got to see that from a very early time. And I've always kept that in mind, that what I'm building is not this thing that's just about me and that I'm running. It's a business that gets to grow and impact others, not just through what I do, but through what all of us do collectively together. And that's what's made this strong. I mean, how many people do you guys have in the home office these days to help run this organization, right? For my personal staff, like we're just at, we're up to 11 now. So we got a long way to go before we're running Symmetry and Quality numbers, but that's the vision. Like, that's the vision that you guys have cast, and all of us can be a part of that. Luckily, I don't have to get up to the 200 or 300 that you guys probably have. I don't have to go that high, because I get to benefit from everything that you're building. And you also taught that to me, right? Is that what you're building, I get to benefit from, and then what I build, I need to make sure I'm pass that on for my team and my organization. They get to benefit from that. So they don't have to do as much, but they can be as big, which is just an amazing thing that this company has continued to do for the past 12 years now.
Yeah, well said, man. Thank you for that. I just have one question for you before I turn it over to you guys. You mentioned just how big of a struggle it was for you early on in the insurance industry before you came here. And from going to flat broke to over $100,000 a month in just bonus checks. Edward, what would you say has been the biggest challenges that you've had to kind of overcome? Because I think it's such a great example that you're setting, because there are a lot of new people on the phone. There are a lot of people that certainly are within their first year. What were some of the things that you had to overcome that have allowed you to really experience the growth and the success that you've had?
That's a long list. I want to say, we're definitely going to keep the call within our time parameters today. Here's the thing: we all come in with baggage, every single one of us. If you were the perfect version of yourself, you wouldn't be on this call right now, right? Like there would be something else that you would probably be doing, right? Because you would be impacting others in your most optimal way. And I think that for me, the biggest thing that I had to really look at was to start addressing those areas that I hadn't paid attention to, that I hadn't put the work in on. Being able to hear from a mentor say, hey, here's the area that I see that you need to improve, and not saying, well, who cares what they're saying, or they have to be wrong. Like, that's just what I've been doing, or that's just how it's been done. Being open to those changes, being able to assess what beliefs do I currently have that are keeping me where I'm at if I'm saying I want to be over here. And those are kind of those are some of the biggest things that, just as you want to grow here, you have to be able to find ways to address those issues, because we are our biggest enemy when it comes to doing anything that we want to achieve in life. And if we can get over ourselves, it's amazing what we're able to start doing. Casey says it all the time. Your ego is probably the most expensive thing that you own. And if you can just put that thing in the back seat, the back pocket, hey, lock them up in a cupboard for a year or two, and you'll be amazed at the kind of growth that you can find for yourself.
I love that answer. It's like the hardest work is the self-awareness work, and coming to terms with, like you called it, the baggage, or what has held me back. And it's generally the things that I believe in, how I think, right? Because that leads to my actions, and that ultimately is going to lead to our level of success. So really well said, buddy. Excited to have you and Theo on, and just major gratitude for you guys. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. I'm definitely honored and privileged to be able to share this moment. It's a really cool moment to be able to introduce, as an agency owner, my father, Theo Pritchett, and have him share just some of the things that we have learned together over the last 2 years in his move from, coming in as an agent in a particular role that I'm working to develop, in that sense of, what is that base shop mentor, base shop director, someone who I'm wanting to truly groom to that place. And it doesn't have to be in the way that we did it from a staff position. This is the same thing that we talk about, the same principles when you hire that running buddy, right? Where you can be the guide by the side to help someone get to their best and most optimal place here at Symmetry Financial Group. And what we're going to cover really is how to build a belief to a level of conviction and use the evidence around you to truly support that. Because at the end of the day, your belief dictates every action that you make every single day. What you believe is what is causing that to be your reality. And I've gotten a chance to witness an evolution, both for myself, but also for my father, as he started with this company and got things going. So Dad, I'll turn it over to you. I'll let you just to introduce yourself, give kind of a little bit of your background. And the first question that I would love for you to be able to share with everyone, given your history with Symmetry, you got to see me get started in 2010. You joined for a period of time in 2012. You took a step back from that, but then you rejoined in October 2019. And I want to ask the question of, so why Symmetry at that moment? Why did, after what you watched over that period of time, what was it that made you say, you know what, October 2019, I need to step back, and this is the place that I need to tie my financial future, my livelihood to at this stage in my life?
I appreciate that, Edward. My name's Theo Pritchett. Of course, I'm director, Edward Pritchett. I'm so honored and privileged to be a part of this company. The people I've met it's just beyond life-changing. A little bit of background on myself. I'm a take a wild guess, an engineer. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I'm an Auburn University grad. Yes, our basketball team we're gonna make a difference in this tourney, Brandon. I'm sorry. That's Todd. I thought you were muted out. Now, I was actually saying roll tide for it slipped. I've got my bachelor's and master's degrees in chemical engineering from Auburn University. And because of Brandon Ellison, I'm just joking. At age 50, I think I shared that on the agency owner call. At age 50, I was kind of, didn't know much then about what all was happening in detail in Symmetry. I was nudging Edward, I was nudging my daughter Allison, my son Matthew, that you need to get your MBA, So even before I became, I guess, like Terminator becoming self-aware, at least the Skynet becoming self-aware on Terminator, I said, well, the best teaching is an example. I said, guess what? Dan's been admitted to the executive MBA program at University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. So that's why I can say War Eagle and Roll Tide. And at age 50, I think I shared age 51 years old, I enrolled. Things went so well there that I actually had got asked to be a part of the PhD program, and I actually taught there for about 6 months until I falsely realized I need to go to, and that's after having experienced Symmetry for the first time. I had seen the initial success of Symmetry. Saw Edward go from, I remember he and Brian Delaney at Rebecca's kitchen table just like yesterday. And I'm like, okay, well, y'all have fun. What's your name again? I'm Brian Delaney. I said, that's a neat name. What do you do? Anyway, so going from there to the $1 Million Pen, and then Dad showed to come and check out what we're doing, and then seeing he had I think almost a $10 million pen. I had a whole bunch of other people who are part of his organization saying, this just might just kind of work a little bit. And then being a part of the business, seeing it grow, and then getting distracted and saying, well, the job must be the way, getting an MBA. So what made me in 2019 saying, let's do this? Well, I decided that same hill that I had climbed so many times before, so many times being the top, this, that, and the other, U.S. Postal Service, just to get some so-called job, and being a high achiever. Next thing you know, I'm in the executive program there, plant manager, 1,000 people I'm in charge of. But I was, that's October 2019. Say January of 2019, there I was working 6-7 days a week, 12 to 16 hours a day, taking naps in my executive office, shutting the door and then getting up and having a shirt hanging on my hanger so that people won't think I slept all night, and, because I had a different shirt on. I had finally arrived there, and all the while, and for those of you who are building an agency, I continue to have dignity and respect for people that you've talked to. So Edward never came saying, well, why do you keep doing that? He just kind of like called, Dad, how things going? I said, well, it's going great. Yeah, I'm in the executive this program, whatever. Say, yeah, well, you got a minute? So he asked me to come to a conference. We call it a conference now. That's what it is. And he said, just kind of check and see what's happening. This is the first one I'm doing for the Pritchett Agency. I said, sure, I'll be glad to. I remember in the hallway counseling this big guy named Marlon Faulkner, because I thought he was kind of a nice guy. And then later on that afternoon, seeing him going on stage with no notes, just tear it out the frame. That's when it's old fear, false evidence appearing real. This is true evidence that's real. You know, you can talk success, but winning can't be mimicked. I saw winning. To see Brandon and Casey electronically, not even physically be there on the screen, the same person that I had met like maybe a year ago, there's a couple of years back, still being nice and respectful, you know, that I had, and now y'all listen to me close, I had quit and tried to go climb back with that same mountain I tried to climb before. So I was in the top management programs could be possible with the Postal Service. And Edward said, come take a look. And I saw that look, then it's truth. It's when you have your belief, it's when it becomes a core, this is what's happening. And then it becomes the driving force behind what I need to do, should do from that point. And one last thing is I look back now at what I remember when I had, now y'all listen to me close, I had to go back through license coach because I had kind of let my license go. And Edward would call me, now that I'm an agency owner and been base shop director, to know that I know all the stuff. He would call and say, Dad, how you doing? How you doing the license coach? And I was like barely 10%. Oh, it's going great. I projected by this Friday. And he was still, I hope y'all get something from this. He was still nice and saying, okay, great. Well, continue to work hard and knowing that I'm at 10%, but I made up my mind because I had knocked the conference knocked those legs off up under the stool of my limiting belief that the job was the answer, that the working for somebody else, building somebody else's legacy, somebody else's business. Now, it just so happened to have my last name on it, but it's just the fact that I had someone, one so happened to be my son, but someone with the credibility, then seeing a bunch of people with credibility, and then learning more about what the system is about and seeing that that system works. That's what brought me here in October 2019. I started my trajectory from August, from that function, made up my mind, and then put together a plan for that trajectory. So come August, I could hit the ground running.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I want to highlight there. You know, as we work, whether it's with our own family, or you know, that the cold market recruit that you have, the warm market recruit that you have, however it comes, but just being able to expose them to, as you said, expose them to, sometimes it takes a longer period of time. Sometimes it takes a year or two for certain people, but being willing to expose people to the truths that we have here, and let them get around that culture, inviting them to those calls. You know, we talk about it in that sense that there are some people that may stay in our duck pond for a little while, right? And it's up to them to make that decision to take off and fly out of there and go to that next level. But to, you know, give people that opportunity, to get exposed to what we have here. Because if we don't share this opportunity, I mean, this is my father. I could have easily been like, well, Dad knows what he's doing his life. And like, we tried it once, like, I'm done, right? There are other people that I can think about in my career here that the first time I talked to them about Symmetry was not the time that they said, yeah, Edward, I'm going to join you. It was time number 2 or 3 or 4. It didn't mean I talked to them and just stayed right beside them, waiting for them to get started, right? I shared it. I let them make their decision. And while they're making their decision, I'm talking to the person over here and doing my recruiting over there and continuing to push my business forward. But, you know, I think just looking back to that time, just being able to share that moment, have you come to that conference, inviting you to join and to be my guest there, allowed us to start on this next leg of the journey. And that's where, as you kind of looked around to see what was going on, it allows you to start building that evidence for your belief. So as you got started, there wasn't a lot of the slow stutter step that kind of existed in the beginning when you kind of knew it might work, but like you weren't sure. Like, you made a very definitive I mean, you quit your job at the Postal Service, right? You know, it was a high-paying job. You had your benefits, you had the pension, like all that stuff, health insurance, right? Like I hear that one all the time from folks. You quit and you joined, and it was like we're going to work. So what was it that you looked for or that you found? What can we show as agents building an organization when we're trying to hire someone as evidence to support a belief in this system? What was the evidence that you looked for, you found, that you used to strengthen your belief as you were getting started there in October of 2019?
Now, one of the biggest things is and it's something that Edward invited, the speed of the group, speed of the leader. Don't tell me what to do, show me how to do it by doing it. And again, not because Edward, you're my son, or that's your cousin, your aunt, uncle. Edward would go out and write business himself. Edward would go out and get business closed himself. Edward put his hand up and told me he couldn't talk to me right now because he was doing self-development. You probably forgot about that. So I really need to talk to you. And he had a thing in his ear during the middle of the day doing self-development. So then from that point, I started not a son, but a mentor, watching what he did and making sure I understood exactly how to do and why is he doing what he's doing. And so I just heard that from the previous call. It's we go at the speed of trust. You know, since I helped create Edward, I kind of knew I could trust him. Okay, but outside of that, it's the proof of the pudding by him being one of the top producers when he went in the country, producing the personal volume, working with the team. He didn't tell me how to recruit. He said, I want you to come with me while I do this recruiting call. And I could hear how it was done. Then after that, I could ask exactly how he did, what he did, why did he say that? And then after that, like Edward said earlier about being a copycat, I was like an older Edward to the max. I just kind of got that all framed where if someone's halfway sensible, I'm say I hire him, I bring him on as a business partner, because that's another thing I learned from Edward is being a business partner. So that's the thing.
And I think too, in that, it's one, creating an environment. If you as a leader want to have people grow and become leaders themselves on your team, whether they're your father or anybody else, you have to create that environment. And you have to be true to the principles of success. And that's something that you taught me, that the principles of success are universal. The principles of success, whether I'm talking to, or no matter who I'm talking to, have to be shown if I'm going to pass those on. And so there are certain principles that you have to do here at Symmetry. One of those is I need to have people who are willing to do the activity and who are willing to plug in. And that's one of the things that because of that speed of trust factor, and that's where when we talk to people that are in our warm market or share this with our warm market, it's so amazing how much quicker that speed of trust happens versus someone who just met you from, there's nothing wrong with ZipRecruiter, Career Builder, Monster, Indeed, like there's nothing wrong with those things. The trust level just has to be built. Whereas warm market and definitively are families that are looking for this, right? That you share the opportunity and they say, okay, I'm ready to come with you, let's go. And now with that speed of trust, when you say, okay, here are the activities I want you to watch, here are the activities I want you to follow, this gives them more and more evidence to support their belief if you're that person. So like people ask me, like, how do you get people in your warm market to trust you and believe? Achieve it, right? Like if you go out in person and produce, you start living the lifestyle that you're claiming this can do for you, because you're going out and getting the personal production. You're the people that are in your warm market, they know this, right? And if you want them to have that level of belief, give them all of the evidence, show them the evidence, invite them to that conference, invite them to a conference call that you're going to be speaking on, so that they can see the leaderboards for you and your team, right? Send them those pictures when you're on those trips, invite them, right? Invite them to a trip that you won. It makes a big difference there might be some truth here whenever they actually experience and see that. And this is the evidence. You're wanting to strengthen that belief by giving them the evidence. And that works whether it's your warm market or definitively for our cold market. Be the evidence. If you're the evidence, the people that you're working with, the leaders that you're trying to help get to that next level and to step up to that next level and so on and so forth, if you're the evidence and you're giving them opportunities to see that as often as possible, now their belief gets to be stronger, because they are going to borrow your belief. They don't have it right now. They don't see it in their own lives and what they're doing, but they can certainly borrow yours when they step in the way that we're discussing here, where I'm sharing, they make a decision. Yep, I'm going to trust you and go with you. Now show me that this is real, and you continue to do that. They accept that, and then they have to go to work. And so here's the next question for you in that going to work part. So the challenges that come up, right? Like you had to, in our agreement when you first got started, there was some minimum set as far as, okay, if you're going to be my base shop director, this is the minimum APV that you have to do each month. You got to make this number of calls. Like it was very systematized. Like the numbers that we talk about, 250, 20, 15, like all the numbers that we have within this organization, they were just a hard line rule for you. But there's challenges that come with that, right? Like there's a push that you have into that. How did you use the belief that you were building, right? Like it wasn't fully built to the level it is now because it continues to get stronger each and every day. But how did you use the belief that you built up as you came on board and what you kept building as we were getting started to fuel yourself through those challenges? What advice would you offer to anyone, right? That you're going to face challenges. It's starting a business. It's life. There's going to be challenges that come up. And instead of going back to limiting beliefs of, oh yeah, this isn't going to work, and this is just another one of those insurance things and blah, 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 blah. You said, I'm going to use this new belief, this empowering belief to help me get there. Can you give just a couple tips? Like, how did you do that? What are some tips that someone can use to go and do that for themselves?
The 4 habits, the 4 basics, the 4 keys to a successful week. Edward had already, being an engineer, put together a flow chart. And I remember the first time he showed this flow chart, I was like, oh, that's nice. That was back in like August. I'm sure you're just getting some flashbacks now. August, September, October. And somewhere in 2021, early 2021, I'm like, man, this is a great flow chart. I was telling Doug Suttonville, and we finally adopted. So the big advice is listen to your mentor and make sure you thoroughly understand. The system is so pure. If you just initially don't worry about understanding it, but I don't use the word trust, but embrace it. And then, like Edward just said, and then once you see the results of it, this work, and you'll see it's all to be systematic. The activity report, oh God, I would do it, I kind of sort of whatever. And now like Casey teaches us, you're not going to improve anything that you don't measure. So when you measure it and systematically, so that's like the biggest tip is embrace the system. And then you as a leader embody the system so that you take that same numbers and see those same things happen for yourself. So 2019, now we did okay. 2020, of course, you know what happened in March of 2020, but even before that, the speed of trust. Edward said, you remember we were having trouble logging into Zoom. Can you hear me? Yeah. All right, one more time. And that was back in, we were trying to use Zoom back in August of 2019, September, October. And finally, he said, in this case, this is kind of, he'll say, Dad, we're going to do this, use this thing called Zoom to do debt-free life. Oh, that's that same thing we got trained on in Dallas. Yep. So we started doing it. And then I watched him do a couple. Fast forward, he quickly becomes one of the top agents in the country. I'm right there with him using the same system, dials, contacts, appointments, resolution, etc. And then when we make the pivot, just naturally go with the pivot, and the rest is history. So I've really so my biggest, my one last thing, and I'll stop right here, is take the system and embrace it early and embody it early. once you see those results, then as we're talking about belief, truth is just going to be clear. And when as the truth or the manifestation becomes more of it, your belief gets greater and greater and greater. And so now, and I'll cover that as we conclude. My team, I simply just say some stuff, and everybody's kind of like, okay, what we need to do, because they know that if you don't do it, it's like whatever. If ever say we're going to do something, then he'll go out there and do it. So we need to start writing $20,000 a week, and then he go out there and do it in a Friday evening. Like it was a Thursday, Friday evening, and then I guess we can do that too. And then we all follow suit. Speed of this group is the speed of the leader.
Yeah, and I think what you said there too is just seeing it from the system side of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you see it as a system and you run into a challenge, then you know the system has an answer for that challenge. We know the numbers can never beat us because we know our numbers, and we can always come back to the system and say, okay, if this happened this week, if my numbers are put in and this one didn't hit right, guess what? If the numbers owe us, the numbers owe us. And if we do it long enough, we'll start to develop the ratios that show us what we can do. And so it's never about disbelief creeping in. It's about using the system to continue to strengthen your belief, even as you face what people would perceive as challenges. And what challenges really are is challenges are just those opportunities for development and growth. And that's what, as you continue to push through those, as you use that belief to drive that fuel for, okay, I got to stick with the system. I got to stick with the system. If I'm not getting the numbers or I'm running into a challenge, where am I not using the system, right? I'm not turning in an activity report. Well, okay, let me start doing that, right? Or, I'm not saying it like this, or I'm not coaching or counseling when it comes to these appointments. I'm trying to do this debt-free life thing, but I'm not going back to get feedback after I've run an appointment and it's still something new to me, right? So I'm not plugging into the training that I need to do to get myself educated so I can get to that next level in this particular practice or part of our practice, right? So I saw that as those challenges came on you, as they come on everybody in this business, they still come, like, trust me, I have challenges of what's the next thing that I'm trying to get to. And it's how can I continue to use and leverage the system to continue and to strengthen the belief that I have. And long as that belief is there, my actions will then start to be the correct actions to get the outcome that I'm looking for. And that's the last thing that I wanted to ask you and cover today is, belief really is a belief in what's possible, right? Like when we talk about this thing about belief, what belief is I believe X is possible. And then my actions start to become the actions that get that end result. And so as you're sitting now, you have a base shop, just broke out as an agency owner. You're doing anywhere from, right now, your base shop, after just breaking out, you're averaging between $80,000 and $100,000 a month in submitted premium every single month. It's 10, 11, 12 writers, and you guys are growing. You're adding new agents on. So what is it that you believe? What would you share with the people that are watching this today as far as what's possible for them if they're really wanting to build a business here and impact or change their family's trajectory? Because that's something that you and I talk about. We talk about it with, my younger sister, Allison, with my brother, Matthew, and Philip, with my sister, even, with Ashley from time to time as we're connecting with her, of what's the trajectory, where are we going now because of what this is doing and what you're working to continue to build your base shop as you push, because we're talking 120 talk these days already. It's like, as you push for that next level for yourself and your team, what is the belief that you're holding on to and that you're trying to strengthen today to continue to guide those right actions to get you to that next stop?
I guess the fundamental thing, there's for we who know, I know you remember this saying, it said, if you believe, it didn't say some things, but says all things are possible. And that was a man who went to a place in his hometown, and was telling them about some good news, and they said, no, you can't do that. And then he went to another place. They didn't know him, and he had all the evidence, because they call it signs and wonders occurring. And so everything happened there. So we know belief is powerful. It's universal. So with that, the legacy is, I know that if Brandon Casey can build a business that's in Brand, of course, 100 almost $200 million business now in this short period of time, and see you do somewhere between 50, 60 million, that it can happen. And I won't say in a shorter time period, but with the efficiencies we have now, it's like off the chart. And a shout out to Brian Williamson. Edward and I started off with even before a fast track, it was a pre-fast track, pre-fast track, with just a flowchart system. Brian comes in with the L10 meetings, what is it, Edward? Mm-hmm. And I could see how, I don't know if Brian's still on, anyway, how brilliant he was and is. I'm like, man, I sure hope this guy can hang around for a little bit. And then to see Brandon and Casey and Brian select him to be the chief, that's the, not financial, human resource officer for our company. I said, oh man, it's going to be off the chart, because just that time I spent with him, the system that he put in place, fast track. Our first SNA was because they had embraced fast track, and the fastest SNA we've had was because they not only did fast track, they did it in about 48 to 72 hours. And now, oh my goodness, Summit. So it's like he said, it's limiting beliefs. I can see now that we have, it's none of that is it's gonna work. It's just a matter, I want to make sure that we're on the top of the wave. So all we're talking now in our agency is Summit. I'm seeing people, I'm getting those emails already. They just finished this, just finished that section. I'm going through myself again, fast track. Y'all heard that? Again, fast track. And why? Because Edward talks about that. Yeah, I went through fast track this past week, and here's some of the things I saw myself. He's leading by example. Summit, using those things. So I can see now that I can match the size of Edward's business from within his business, within our family business, within, I don't say a few years, but it won't take very long to do that, because of the system that we have in place, and it's so scalable now. And to hear what Max was talking about, what he's doing, and then Edward's taking me through. High five, Max! You own it in terms of the potential to get that volume and get it systematic. And just to shout out the switchboard, I did it for about 8 days, just getting started. Wrote about 15, 16,000 in volume. Being a part of that beta testing, potential is there. So it's like belief. It's kind of like the genie is out of the bottle. We're in the right place, right time. I don't say right company. The only company. Nobody's doing what we're doing. And so now I can already quickly see that family legacy wise, that I'll be able to generate the income to now invest in other things when the time is right. And using that as example, and the first thing I've done is do what Edward's in counseling, is set aside so that I can reinvest in the people, the organization, Robert Glantz, Emmanuel Holder, Jermaine and Kelly, Ursuline. When I said we can make $50,000 a month be a simple thing, and then to see a common regular situation per month, and to see already those people I just named are right at $20-some thousand as of right now in submit volume, because of belief that there's no limit, and if you don't have to just speak it, we do it, because they saw me hit 20 plus, almost 30,000 last month, and I'm still just getting started. We're just getting started. So that's the big concluding thing is that it's exciting to be here on the wave of, and then to hear Brandon say that he's got Edward 6 more products. I mean, SBLI, I had anyway. it's like off the chart, and then they have 6 more. I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to say that, was it? Oh no. But we got some more stuff that's coming out in addition to the platforms that are already in place. I'm 64 years old. I now know the feeling of being a teenager, because like this morning I woke up at 3:30, kind of wanted to get up and get started a little early. I said, no, let me for just a little while longer, and not have to try to get up. It's an excitement about where one of my colleagues named Aaron said that this is a chance that I can how did he put it, Edward? I can get back my, I can reclaim what I've lost. Symmetry is a place where we can do that, where if you think that you can't, if you want a legacy for your family, it's not going to do it all, but it will give at least a cash flow source to make this happen for you. And so that's my thing I wanted to share, is that our system is bar none. Just make sure it says massive action, constant correction, and then mentor. And that's where one thing Edward really taught me that I hope people really get is I don't have to call him every 15 minutes. I got to go and do some research myself. Pat me on the back, yeah. And then once I kind of get it, I'm just going to make sure I got it right. I'm not seeing the mirage or anything like that. And that's the powerful thing that we have that we can do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's fundamentally driven by just that belief, and belief is such a great compounding energy, right? Like the more you believe, the more evidence you keep looking for, the more you use the system, the stronger it becomes. Like people wonder, how does it happen so fast for certain individuals or certain teams? And I think, and not just think, but know that it boils down to them having that firm focus, that vision. And I know for us, it's like we have this ideal of the family legacy that we are creating, and it's going to happen like that. There's not an if, and, or but about it. That's what's going to happen. This system, this Symmetry system, has been a blessing to our family to allow us to use it to start creating that legacy and to build that legacy. And it continues to reinforce itself, so that when it comes to those key things that you have to do, when it comes to being mentored in certain things by your son, you're able to say, I'm not going to get some kind of way about it. He knows something right here that I don't know. Like that's there's so much that we can do whenever we just firmly believe in what's next, and we seek out evidence to support it, versus what a lot of people tend to do is they start looking for the things that undercut their own belief. They start to dwell on those things that knock the legs out from the support system that they should be building up. And what we've chosen to do, and what I encourage anyone who's listening to this today to do, is just stop. Stop looking for those things that are taken away. We talk who stole your cheese, right? Like that's a old book, throwback book from way back. But like stop letting those things steal the dreams and the belief that it's going to get you to where you want to go, and only look for almost tunnel eye vision, right? Like I'm going to put up the blinders like that the horses use, where all I'm looking for is things that support my belief, things that support the belief that I want to foster. And we've had those conversations where we've determined what we believe is true and what we're going for, what those goals are going to be. And all we look for are those things that support that belief, more evidence to support it, to make it stronger. And it's what's allowed you to do the things that you continue to do for your team, for your organization. I'm excited for the next leg of this journey. You taking your base shop, breaking out your first agency owner, 110, 115, 120, direct to Symmetry, like all those celebrations that we get to have, and the things that happen next. And here's what we know, and what I'll leave with Symmetry Nation here this morning, is that it is just a matter of choice. You just have to decide that you are going to believe that this is going to work for you and for your family. And then you will start to draw and attract the people that are going to help make that happen. But but you have to be the foundation of that. So Dad, love you. Appreciate you being on this journey with me. And with that, Todd, we'll throw it back over to you guys there at the home office. And thank you guys again for this opportunity to celebrate my father and the great business system that has been created by the whole home office staff.
Man, we appreciate you guys so much, and the nuggets and the wisdom poured in today. And I think my favorite comment was just how smooth the Pritchett family is. I got to back that up. That is like father, like son for sure. And so I'll just close it with this to both of you, incredible gentlemen. Thank you, because of what you did and the choices you made, especially you, Edward, back in the early days of Symmetry. So many people on this call have had a chance to have an impact on the world and make an income that provides for their family. And for that, buddy, me personally wouldn't have a job if you didn't make the decisions you made and the continued leadership you continue to provide on the advisory board moving forward. So forever grateful, and thank you so much, Theo and Edward, for sharing today.
Yes, sir. You all be blessed out there.